back with that one. He's certainly not hanging around.
First boundary. Yeah. Finally.
What does that mean?
It's about 4 runs.
4 runs. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the maximum amount of runs.
The maximum is when you hit for 6. So without touching the ground, the ball goes...
It goes over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it's called 6. Yeah.
Sex or 6?
6. Number 6. We are playing cricket. It has numbers in it. Damn. What's happening?
Hello and welcome back to The Retro Perspective. I'm Jake and I'm here today with Vivek, or Baba Mishra as I've been calling him.
Hi.
How are you doing today, Vivek?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very good, thanks. Full disclosure, before this episode begins, I know nothing about sports. You know quite a bit about sports?
Yeah, a bit. A bit more than sports.
A little bit.
A little bit more than sports. So bit more that I got graduated in sports.
Yes. So what was your degree in?
My degree was in Master of Science in Sport Business Management from Leeds Beckett University.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes, that means nothing to me.
Was it gibberish? So what I basically studied was the business sector of it. Like how could you manage the teams, organizations, tournaments, and the economics behind it, basically.
So this is a video game channel. What first sort of turned that into, well, let's make a video, was our shared love of some classic PS2 era video games.
Yeah, obviously, yes.
I may not know much about sports, but Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2004 is one of my favourite games.
Oh, yeah.
And then we discussed wrestling games and we were playing one the other night.
For me, Here Comes the Pain is an absolute classic. Not only for me, for my friends back there who are in India and Germany. Abhishek and Akshay, shout out to you guys. Thank you for spoiling me. And that is where, all these friendship and fights were started. And, we started emulating them in real life, beating each other. Like, where you feel, invincible when you feel like, okay, whenever my friend, he takes Brock Lesnar, he acts like Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. When you see them, doing all those classic moves, what you see on television, and be like, wow, this is it.
You want to do those?
Yeah, I want to do this. On the video, I want to do that. I actually tried doing the frog jump, which is by Rob Van Dam, on one of our classmates, and he ratted out me. He went to the teacher. He was like, "Yeah, Vivek Mishra jumped." He just jumped from benches to benches, and he just tried to hit me or something like that. And I was being thrown out of the class for a whole day. Sure. So we play those games just to have those nostalgia feel. That's get a feel of it.
Yeah. I mean, there's not, wrestling is still going on now.
Yeah.
But I feel like the best wrestling games were definitely
Here Comes the Pain.
Here from the PS2 era. Yeah.
Not only the PS2 era. If you just see any cross platforms, right? Mm-hmm. Here Comes the Pain has been given the maximum votes.
Right. Okay. So it's like
even by the IGN as well.
Well, we don't trust IGN on this channel.
Okay. But, let's say from the Mishra Index.
Okay. Sure.
I definitely feel what I have seen from my friends. I played Brian Lara Cricket 05. Mm-hmm. Back in 2013, I think I played in my friend's place. That is when it's the last time I played. But we were much more bigger fans of playing Cricket 07.
Okay.
And Pro Evolution Soccer and FIFA.
Yeah.
Is
that on PlayStation 3 when that came around?
No, this was on 2.
Okay, yeah, because they still carried on releasing them. Yeah.
It was still being played on that platform. See, huge respect to Brian Lara. What a cricketer he was. He was often compared with the great Sachin Tendulkar. Codemasters worked with Brian Lara.
Yeah, sure.
And the original license of Australian cricket, English, New Zealand, South Africa, they had proper license with EA. Mm-hmm. Because EA, obviously being a big company who have already had their hands on FIFA.
Yeah.
and
Grubby hands.
yeah, and obviously they wanted to change the graphics and the gameplay completely different.
Yeah, sure.
But if you compare, because what I particularly believe is there's a great change between Cricket 05 and Cricket 07 when it comes to gameplay and user interface as well.
Yeah,
It's much more softer, easier, and the game phase is also not generic. It's very close to what how they look, especially the teams who have taken the licenses. I'm not talking about the Indian cricketers. Obviously, they have
Yeah.
used a generic brown face for that. Sorry to sound racist, but it's not. But unfortunately, they should
you're
have.
saying it doesn't look like the people.
Oh
that
yeah,
it's
it
actually
doesn't. It
based
doesn't.
on.
It doesn't. But if you see English cricketers like Freddie Flintoff, Kevin Peterson, Michael Vaughan, Marcus Descotic, Andrew Strauss, they look exactly the same.
So you're saying it might not necessarily be to do with racism. It might just be that they didn't have the license to
exactly.
use
Yeah,
those
exactly. That's
likenesses.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they just use a generic face.
Yeah.
How would an Indian look? It's just like that.
Yeah, that when you put it that way, that does sound
Yeah,
racist.
same thing goes with Pakistani. Same thing goes with West Indian.
Yeah.
Same thing goes with Namibia, Bermuda, or any let's say even New Zealand, Netherlands for that.
Yeah.
So, but these major teams had licenses then, and they made sure their favorite shots, their style of celebration, even their hairstyles were same.
Yeah.
So it was a vast difference from '05. There was no 6, I believe,
Oh, okay.
because
So
they
it's just
worked. I think they worked
years.
completely 1 year just for the graphics and the gameplay.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's not like them at all.
Yeah, that's not like that, because they they never take a
put
break.
out- yeah. Put out as much as possible.
And the funniest part is they took 1 year break. They bring out the massive game, and they never release again. So Cricket 07 is the last EA game ever
okay.
in cricket.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will find talented Indians who are very good with tech and patching, where you will find different patches of
They're still working on that game.
of every year releasing it till this date.
Yeah.
So you would find EA Cricket 2024 unofficial. It's a patch,
Okay. Yeah.
but the gameplay is 07.
Yeah. Sure. That makes sense.
Big Ant actually is continuing, which is a Australian production, game production. They go on with cricket. The name is this cricket 21, 22, 23, 24. Like it goes like that.
Yeah.
They started off with Ashes. Obviously, you know the heritage between the English and Australia, which is going on.
Yeah.
So they, being an Australian company, they started off with Ashes Australia. That's how it started there. And they have major licenses only for, as per my knowledge, I think they have only license for Australia and England only,
Sure.
not for other countries.
Yeah.
They've used generic names and again generic faces for other teams as well.
Yeah.
So the dynamics of those games have completely changed. It is not simple. The ball is in the air and they'll take a catch, or you simply slog the ball, it'll go for 6 or 4. You just give a direction towards a space, and the ball travels there, for a boundary or something. In Big Ant's production, it is completely different. You need to understand how much the ball is swinging, the ball is spinning, who is the bowler, from where you're standing correct, where your stance was correct. Whether you're flicking the ball or cutting the ball. So I feel too much of technicality, it kills the joy. Then it becomes more like as if you're training for cricket.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like,
So you would prefer simplified mechanics in a
absolutely.
cricket game.
What was with Cricket 07? It's like plug and play. You forget it, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to,
like the wrestling games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple. You know the basic knowledge.
Yeah. You don't have to know much about wrestling
Yeah.
to just sort of pick it up and.
And as you play, your finger and your hand, it learns of its own. Okay, what I should do next. Let's say if I'm talking about wrestling, what is the grapple move, how I can reverse the move, how I can steal the move and use the Red Smack, right? It becomes too technical. It's like, let's say.
I'm sure IGN didn't like the more technical aspects.
Oh yeah.
Of,
See, in that case, I don't. See, usually, I don't follow IGN. I follow the gamers' emotion and their mood. Where it is going, the vibe where it is going. So I let's say, like, so if some of my friends come and say, bro, you should try out this game. Okay, for a moment you might trust that person and say, okay, fine, let's try it. Let's give it a taste of it. Like how it is.
Yeah.
Or for that case, even Reddit is good.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a huge debate always happening.
There's always debates on Reddit.
Yeah, especially on Game of the Year kind of a thing. When it comes on Game of the Year or so. But
or why is there a woman character in this video game?
That's good. That's okay. That's acceptable.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's great.
Women should be there actually. That's see, because if you see this current patches in Cricket 07, they have introduced WPL, which is Women's Premier League.
Okay, so that's the patches that are still going on by people.
Yes.
Yeah, people now.
I think keeping the essence of the game, especially Cricket 07, what actually people are bonded with. EA should actually re-release this year or probably next year. They might use better graphics, but let's keep the same gameplay. That's what I'm requesting. They can change the user interface.
That is pretty much what they do with most things.
Yeah. They can change the user interface. That is fine, because it makes it more fancier or prettier or whatever you could say. But EA, if you're watching this, please do not change the gameplay. That's the reason why we break CDs or consoles of Big Ant. We are not a big fan of Big Ant. That's because it becomes too technical, boss. Because see, you want to come back from office or you want to come back from school, you want to plug and you want to play a game. You don't want to go through a manual and learn how to place those shots. That's how it works.
Yeah.
You just want to take a 30-minute break and you want to just whack those balls outside the stadium or take wickets and have fun.
So one of the discussions that we've had in the past was about Indian esports, which I found really interesting.
Right.
You've had experience, a bit about that, right?
Oh yeah, I do. Not much, but yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I know few players, who have some experience into it. Like when they play. Back then, they used to play PUBG.
Yeah, sure.
And now it has become Battlegrounds, obviously because of the privacy reasons. Sure. But by Tencent games as well, but it was from a different...
Yeah, so the privacy thing, that's because it's like Chinese company and...
it's because of that.
Yeah, okay.
It's because of that. Yeah. That's the reason why TikTok and all those apps were banned in India.
Okay.
But they knew India is their biggest market for PUBG.
Yeah.
So they exactly created the same game just for the Indian market.
Okay. So there's a different version of it.
PUBG in India.
In India.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Wow.
That's the only existing version which is in India because they knew that India is like the biggest market for them.
Yeah.
And kudos to the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, and he has taken an initiative that that all these games and esports will be now considered as a career now.
Yeah. I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, because
definitely.
it breaks the such tradition and this orthodox thinking that that only if you're a doctor, engineer, or a lawyer you can do something great in life. But
yeah,
you may never know, like if you practice and if you have the right peripherals and the devices where you can practice, and if you have the right opportunity to get into that picture, you may never know you'll be earning more than these top three
I
jobs.
remember when we first talked about it, you were kind of saying that in India it is becoming more of a well-known career choice, whereas here I still think it's like people just don't really think of that kind of thing as
Oh yeah,
a career.
they
like,
still
at
feel
all.
it's a leisure.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
still feel
exactly.
it's that.
Yeah.
People do believe who's in the government, right? So what they're going to say is going to be the final call.
Yeah,
So
sure.
tomorrow, if the prime minister says, there is an alternative career where people don't have to be homeless or just sit at home outside the streets. We used to have cyber cafes
Sure.
where you can go and browse internet, because computer was not that affordable then in every household. So we used to have this 10 piece or a 20 piece a room where cyber cafes and people come spending.
We had them at one point, but it's never really been a big thing here because people just were able to get computers like pretty
Absolutely.
much in their homes straight
exactly,
away. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
See, I was privileged enough to get it back in 2001, which was again a huge deal back then in India,
yeah,
because it was considered as a luxury and not a commodity back then. Now it is like, if you don't have a computer, it'll be like, okay, which stone age are you in? It'll be like that. Obviously, seeing the footfall of that, seeing how like the crowd, the computer was able to pull. That is when the cyber cafe owners started to have PlayStation 2 plugged to their
wow,
televisions.
great.
And they started with, a simple 10 rupees for half an hour, which is like 10 pence for half an hour.
Yeah,
And play multiplayer, like bring your friends and play.
yeah,
So that used to be addictive. And as the time went by, that it became 20, 50, 100, people started paying premium as the console changed, the television changed. From color television, it became to plasma TV, to it became to LCD, then it became to LED, then it became OLED. So, and
none of which I ever had. I thought all those were like fads, basically.
Yeah.
Especially, the plasma TVs. Like, what was the point in them?
I didn't understand that. It was just one fancy word, and like, okay.
Yeah,
PS3 was a complete game changer, where the economics of cyber cafe and awareness of there's something called PlayStation worked out.
yeah,
And in 2007, Xbox 360 entered India.
See, I would have everywhere else in the world. It was like Xbox started the internet revolution of video games, and
Yeah, right.
Multiplayer and things like that.
Right.
Although obviously it wasn't the first to do it.
Yeah.
It's just that Xbox made it mainstream. Everywhere else, would you say that PlayStation was more?
PlayStation,
it's like-
I believe PlayStation made it more because of Final Fantasy as well.
Okay, right, yeah, of course.
Final Fantasy and PlayStation were like match made in heaven,
100%.
Like how they say
agree.
it's a better love story than Twilight, like how they say, right? So
I agree with that. Yeah.
So because I used to see like crazy versions of PlayStation of like with Final Fantasy decals on it.
Yeah.
So even though they did not play Final Fantasy, they used to play FIFA or something else.
Yeah.
But I used to see decals of Final Fantasy and all those things.
Yeah.
And also introduction of not introduction, but awareness of FIFA also made it completely different.
Yeah.
Somewhere around maybe these footballers like Ronaldo and Messi, right? They made it completely different. Okay, they want to I want to how we got fascinated playing with Triple H and Goldberg and all those people. The younger generation started, oh, should I, even us for that case, or me, because you don't play sports, but me and my friends who play sports generic genre of sport, like video games, we were fascinated with FIFA a lot, and we wanted to see, okay, does Messi really do that kick, or does Ronaldo really do that?
So yeah, the animations and like whether they were true to the players.
Yeah.
That I remember when I played on like PS2 Pro Evo, being interested in like the stats of all the players. And it's like, I think at the time when I played, it was like Japan had the worst team ever. Like you could see, but it's like
stats,
it's like not only with it was almost like people believed that was one of the worst teams, so they'd reflect it in the game.
This was which game you were talking about?
I think it was Pro Evo, but I can't remember which one.
FIFA? Was this FIFA?
Pro Evolution Soccer.
Pro Evolution Soccer. Okay.
Yeah.
By Konami.
Yeah.
Get it. Yeah.
I never really played FIFA. But yeah, it was interesting seeing all the stats. And then obviously, you know, speed. I remember speed. You know, you could really tell that the player was like running a lot faster than the other players.
Yeah.
And going into all that is almost like an RPG in a way.
Yeah, correct.
So yeah, that's where I see sports games is those kinds of things interest me.
Yeah.
And obviously the games are always fun. I've always enjoyed playing, you know, even football games, even though I hate football. But but yeah, the games have always been, you know, fun for me.
I should check your British passport in that case. How dare you say that? That you hate football?
Yeah, I never ever liked it.
India, you know, they have the maximum consumption of video games and all these things, and you know, as the purchasing power increased in India, they knew that okay, this is something which can make your kids intrigued into it. They made it, slightly feasible to the Indian market, and that is when you see now it has become like a common household appliance.
Yeah, sure.
Like once upon a time, having a DVD player or a cassette player used to be a common household thing because you want to listen to music and all those things. And PlayStation was considered something, you know, especially in India. Like if you get good marks in your school, that is when you're going to get.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Indian parents are so manipulative. They'll be like, "Oh, you got good marks. Okay, now you behave good with me. Then I'm going to give you." They'll come up with some random reason where they don't have to spend that much money to buy a silly thing.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you know, even the kid is not even 3 or 4 years old. The first thing they want is an iPad or a PlayStation, something like that. This is because of the purchasing power has increased. People have understood, you know, okay, what is this thing, you know, where the mom and dad is, you know, playing all the time. So obviously they want to have a knack of it and they want to use it.
Yeah. I'd say PlayStation is a bit more of a good purchase than an iPad.
So in that's what in our growing age we used to go to our friend's place or we used to go to cyber cafes to play.
Yeah.
We never had that access, you know, where parents could be like, you know, okay, fine, get this for yourself.
Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't say even rich kid families were buying that. It was like highly privileged or, you know, completely having total freedom, kind of where there's no you know, kind of any orthodox kind of behavior happening in their families. That is where they were like, okay, fine, let's get this for you, because obviously they would think as an Asian household, they would obviously see that as a distraction from studies. But now it's a complete story, different story. Now they'll be like, okay, be into that. What if you become a richer person than someone who's a lawyer or doctor?
What if you can earn even more money playing video games?
Yeah.
That is
very,
I'd say, a lot easier to get into than having a medical degree.
Yeah. So this particular chat which the Prime Minister had with the upcoming esports gamers was one major awareness he made sure was created amongst all the youth was that no kind of gambling or some kind of betting is done.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's a good call, I'd say.
Because okay, you're playing video games, you learn the skill, you do it for leisure, or you relax yourself. What you can play for the competition or you play for your leisure. That's a completely different story. But again, I'm not talking about responsible single people or responsible working people who know how to use their money really wise.
Yeah.
I'm talking about those kids who live under their parents' care, under their parents' money, and it should not be misused. Like although they might know their card details and other things, and it's 1 o'clock in the night. Okay, no one knows what's happening. My parents are sleeping. Let me use their card
To buy
to
buy little pictures of footballers that go into the team.
maybe in that case, maybe that is also accepted because that's also a part of a game.
Sure.
But not into gambling and betting and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that is where you go all in or nothing kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Let's say buying some skins or buying some inventory in game would actually unlock something.
I mean, do they nowadays really?
I don't know. Let's say like even in basic mobile games, right?
Yeah.
Let's say if you're playing a cricket game, like real cricket, this is a game which is there in Play Store, I believe. The better bats and the better balls you buy, so obviously you're able to score better runs and you'll be able to take better wickets.
Yeah.
With a better speed or swing or whatever it is.
I think when we're saying about gambling in video games, it's mainly loot boxes that people would say is close to gambling, not necessarily buying something.
Inventory.
It tells you it tells you exactly what it does.
Yeah.
And you're buying this thing that you know what you're getting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas in a loot box, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
And I think they've only recently said that they have to show the odds of what you're getting.
Yeah.
Whereas before, no one even knew the odds of getting 1,000,000 to 1 this special golden
million
thing.
You know what I find really silly is probably in all Weatherspoons you might see there's a betting gambling kind of an arcade, a kiosk there, and they say win £100, win this much, win that much. The chances for that is 1 in 2 trillion.
2 trillion.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I don't understand why do people play that.
I never have any.
You come to Weatherspoons, enjoy your drink, go home. Don't play such games. You're already paying Weatherspoons for your beer.
Yeah.
Don't pay much. Simple. So that was given full freedom to those gamers by the Prime Minister, saying that you need to create an awareness amongst the kids that gambling and betting is wrong. It's illegal in India, yes, but they should not fall for it.
Yeah, try and sneak it in another way.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that here in Western places, esports scene is kind of seen as probably 99% male dominated thing.
Oh yeah.
Would you say India is a little bit more equal?
India is changing. India is now taking strides with that. Yeah. There is no patriarchy stuff happening that in that case.
In that realm.
In that realm, it's not even because again, you will find either two types of parenting over there. Either it's a stupid thing, or it's okay, go for it, kind of a thing. In that case, they don't see the gender, whatever it is. They don't say, no, you're a girl, you don't play. No, it's like either you have gone mad that you're playing this, or either like, okay, fine, this is the money, go for it. If you're able to afford whatever console or whatever PC peripheral you want,
sure,
they'll do it. That is where the gender disparity doesn't come.
Yeah,
I have seen it. Yeah.
So you would see a lot more women seeing that as a more viable career in India
Oh yes.
than you would here, where it's like 99% men, basically.
Okay, let's say if women are saying that they're not given enough opportunities in, let's say, in corporate world, especially in India, let's say, or they say they're not being paid enough.
Yeah.
I see esports as a big jump or there, a big career boost for them. Like if they learn the skill set and if they invest their time, I won't say waste time. Nothing is waste. If you invest your time in especially playing such things, right? Then I would feel that women can do actually slightly more better than men over there.
Sure.
They will be more inclined or more, let's say, concentrated towards how they would play. That's
Sure.
what I feel.
Yeah.
Because they would take their career more seriously. Because again, from the Indian families where they'll come from, it's because it's all in or nothing kind of an attitude.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, like my parents have invested in me. They had a belief in me that I could do something in esports. Let me make use of it. Otherwise, obviously, there are a million fingers to point that, yeah, you did not make it, including your parents. So, yeah.
I feel like if there was an esports of Brian Lara cricket, I would not earn much money doing that.
Today, no.
I'd have to practice a little bit more.
Today, no. But yeah, tomorrow, if you practice, yes, why not? Yeah. I always see a bigger picture, yes. Yeah, because with practice, everything happens. So, yeah. That's what everyone needs to do. And it's all about awareness. So, if the UK market understands, that there is a career with this.
Well, that's the thing. Our government is complete opposite to that, where they're basically saying there's only a few real jobs, and these other jobs don't really, like, none of these other jobs matter.
Yeah.
So they're trying to funnel everyone into specific jobs and make them all the same, rather than expanding the pool of jobs. And cutting funding to anything.
I completely get your point. Like you're trying to say, the electricians, the plumbers, and all those things, they come into working class kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like a blue collar kind of a thing. Okay, I'm not saying they're looked down upon, but it's like, okay, there's one particular segment where, okay, this is your fixed pay. Be into that.
Yeah.
And that comes as a white collar job. Is like, okay, you get dressed up, go to the office, go in your car, and sit in front of the desktop and click few buttons on the keyboard, and you get paid.
But I don't think our government even speaks about any other types of jobs, like, ever. It's just like not spoken about.
I think it pretty much works in every part of the world.
As well, from my perspective, I think the reason that I would never be into esports is because you have to play one game for a very, very long period of time. And play that one game over and over and over again. And as much as I would love to be really good at a game, like amazingly good, where I could beat, people all over the world, I just don't want to put that time into this one game. I'd rather experience different games.
It ends up to the same thing. It's like jack of all trades, master of none. So
exactly.
It becomes like that.
Unfortunately, that is my life. But
Jake of all trades. I think even brands should come in, and start promoting such things, because
definitely.
Like
and not just energy drinks, please.
I was just coming to that actually. Like Prime and Red Bull, because obviously that's where the kids actually run for that for the first thing.
Yeah.
But in that case, let's say Prime for that. Prime can actually do, because Prime is now being brand sponsors for a lot of football teams as well.
Amazon Prime.
No, the Prime drink.
Prime drink.
Yeah.
Okay, I've not heard of it. So
it's by Logan Paul, I believe.
Yes, I have heard of it.
And KSI as well.
Yeah.
If they try to bring in the picture, because not to forget they are YouTubers as well. So if they bring out a vlog or something saying that, hey guys, we are going to start a competition or maybe a talent hunt.
Yeah.
let's say a talent hunt, then people might come into the picture. Okay, I can play better,
Yeah. Well, I think you do make a good point, because I've always believed that people like those guys with like millions of subscribers
There's a reason, right?
should be doing things like that, and bringing people from here up here with them,
uplift them,
rather than just saying I'm gonna fight Mike Tyson or whatever.
Do you think
Logan Paul does?
Do you think he's going to stand even for like a couple of rounds? I think Mike Tyson, even being 55 or 53, one blow, that's it. No, he's an animal.
Concentrate more on uplifting the people on your field.
Or let's say your audience.
Yeah.
Your audience is more into vlogging and esports, online gaming, and especially playing PlayStation and FIFA. If you know, like KSI and all those people are into this group called Sidemen.
Right, I've not heard of it, but
so they play FIFA a lot. So they can use that and empower the younger audience and ask them to play such things, and then they'll be like, okay, after seeing an overwhelming response, me and Jake or me and Logan have decided, let's start a talent hunt in London, or let's say in Liverpool or any other city. I have seen kids going crazy. They're like 7 or 8 years old, and the first thing they want is Prime. I want Prime.
I think there was a South Park episode about this, actually.
Yeah. So people see, you might see that Prime as a fad, but it's not going as a fad. People are actually crazy about it.
It's been going a while now. Like,
so if
longer than plasma TVs.
So if they have that mileage, why not use it?
Yeah.
Till it goes right, till it goes off.
Yeah.
I mean, there would be a point of time where Prime won't work, or Prime will hit its dead end.
Yeah. Now is the time,
but
you're saying.
Exactly. The business should never hit the dead end, right?
Yeah.
So what else they can do so that, okay, people could still buy Prime and still be relevant to Prime and still will remember Prime, is when they get into this sector. Then it'll become your responsibility to push the younger generation to go ahead, play games, and you may never know, you'll be like so next person like me or something like that. So,
yeah, sure. Well, I think we've covered a lot today, and we've played a good game, and thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for calling me, and we had a lovely chat over here, and I hope I was able to give different insight from different countries as well, and from different diasporas as well, where where gaming is seen very differently from every other countries and every socio-economic strata as well.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because I do enjoy looking at other perspectives on that. So cheers for that.
Cheers. Yeah, it was fun talking to you, Jake. Yeah.
I've been Jake from the Retro Perspective with
Vivek Mishra.
Cheers for watching. See you next time.
That's your thing.